Look, here is the new Band-Aid plastic strip with new...
Worlds are colliding. Welcome to Ozzy's Comic Multiverse.
Hi.
Hi. You like comic books?
I do like comic books. Are they good comic books? What do we got?
We got some decent ones. I guess I can go into like one of the weaker books of the night. It's not necessarily weak, as that it's not good. It's just new. It's my first time reading it. It's Once Upon a Time at the End of the World, and the art style is really cute. I dig it. It's a little muddy, much like a lot of modern comics are. So
Yeah, I would say that's pretty on point.
indicative of modern books.
Yeah.
But the storyline is really cute because this guy, he's alone in a tower, and he's got all the things he can want in the world. Something's gone to shit with the world. Shit's not okay. Don't know what that is. I guess you got to read further to figure it out. But he manages to let this girl in who is Esmeralda. Call her Mezzy for short.
What do you mean let her in?
She was getting attacked by some giant squid, octopus, tentacly thing.
Okay.
And he managed to save her and let her in and give her some food and stuff, and she's just passing through. She's not trying to chill there. He's got things to do. His parents are dead, and he's like, you know what? I don't want to be here by myself. It's like, I thought everything was fine, and then now I know that there's other people out there. It's like, what am I wasting myself here for? So he decides to take off after her, and it's going to be like this buddy comedy, will they, won't they kind of book. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I would give this like something I would recommend. Like, if you're looking for something different, like it's kind of like a Warm Bodies kind of deal, you know?
It kind of seems like if you're looking for like a mediocre indie game to play, like that's you know, just pick that up.
It's like a light romance novel.
Yeah.
So it's all right. The second book that I'm actually going to get into is the setup for Dark Web, which is the big event coming up for Spider-Man. And this book actually doesn't feature Peter Parker whatsoever. Instead, you get one of my favorites, Ben Reilly. And if that name sounds familiar and it makes some of you groan, it's because Ben Reilly was established back in the 90s during the Clone Saga. And I know just me saying that makes people dry heave. Because a lot of people do not like Clone Saga. Fuck you, it gave us the coolest version of Spider-Man, which was the Scarlet Spider, that red suit with the blue hoodie.
Yep.
Anyway, we are picking up with Ben Reilly, who's going by Chasm now. Apparently, there's some beef going on. I didn't read the book in which Chasm was fully introduced, but I did read Beyond, which led into the current Spider-Man run. And it's interesting because Ben Reilly is pulled into Limbo, which is where the Goblin Queen is. And for those of you who know who the Goblin Queen is, then, you know, that's a clone that we actually do like. And the Goblin Queen is, of course, Madeline Pryor. Now, I say the name Madeline Pryor, I was like, all right, let's do a little bit of comic books history real quick. Madeline Pryor was a clone of Jean Grey. So it's like when Jean Grey was taken out of commission, she was dead for a little while after the Phoenix Saga.
Right.
And decided to give you Jean Grey without calling it Jean Grey, and she was a clone from Sinister. Well, anyway, Scott and her ended up having a kid, and that kid became Cable, and they took care of him in an alternate future. And then when Jean Grey magically came back to life, Scott said, fuck this, and abandoned his wife and child to go back with Jean Grey. Scott did.
Yeah, I don't blame him, honestly. Like
Scott's a douchebag, but he's a necessary.
Yeah, maybe like unpopular opinion, but I hate Cable, so like I feel it.
Yeah. So, needless to say, Madeline Pryor felt some kind of way. She even fucked Scott's brother Havoc to get back at him, which didn't work. But she is doing her own thing now, and now these two clones, Ben Reilly and Madeline Pryor, have found each other. And she's pretty much the queen of Limbo, which she has all these demons at her command. And her and Chasm are planning to team up to go after the people who pretty much stole their lives as they see it. So Madeline's after Jean Grey, and of course Ben Reilly is after Peter Parker. So I'm looking forward to the Dark Web bit. This was a great warm-up for that. There's quite a few stories. You also got the debut of a new character, which is Ben Reilly's current girlfriend, and she's debuting as Hollow's Eve, and I actually really like that design.
Yeah, that is really lovely.
Yeah. Her thing is she has different masks that she puts on to take on different entities to defeat whatever she wants, and it's like, I actually really dig that.
It kind of gives me like a Scarlet Witch Hobgoblin crossover kind of vibe. It's very nice.
I fucking dig that. That's really cool. However, yes, absolutely.
Fucking like that.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you got the Goblin Queen in here looking extra vivacious. So Madeline Pryor has not lost her looks in over 30 years.
Looks like they pulled her right out of Spawn.
I know, right? It is. Wait until you see Angela. Which they actually did pull her right out of Spawn. We'll talk about that later. Yeah, Angela, if you grew up reading the 90s Spawn comics, Angela the Angel is now a Marvel character.
Really?
Yeah, like she can't be used in Spawn comics anymore. There's a weird, complicated story behind it.
Yeah, it usually is.
The current book that is actually...
Before you start, do they have anything to do with like Marvel going bankrupt back in the day?
No,
it's
this
not
actually had a lot to do with the reason why Image Comics was founded. All right, so about that whole story. When Image Comics started, it was pretty much artists being able to control the creations that they contributed to comics and be able to receive payment for it. Because at the time, the big two, Marvel and DC, were kind of shitty to their creators.
Superhero NFTs.
Yes, exactly.
That's a good way to put it.
Fair.
Of course, they did lead to the comics crash of the 90s, but at the same, that's the reason why Disney and them went, Marvel went bankrupt and shit. But so when they first launched Image Comics, one of the hottest comics to come out of it was Spawn. And so with all the work that Todd McFarlane was doing at the time, he realized that he could not continue to both do the art as well as write for the book. So he hired in a lot of guest writers, and a lot of those early books were really good because the guest writers, one of those was Neil Gaiman. And Neil Gaiman was the one who created Angela.
That's on point for him.
Why did Neil Gaiman do that? That's because Neil Gaiman wanted a book that was purchased by Malibu Comics called Miracle Man. Well, it was originally a DC character. Rights, as shit goes on, time changes. People buy rights to stuff that other people don't want.
Yes.
So it went from DC and went to Malibu. He wanted to get the Miracle Man book. So McFarlane had bought Malibu Comics. The thing is that he never owned rights to Miracle Man. Todd McFarlane never owned those rights to Miracle Man. So Neil Gaiman did that work, and when he realized it, it's like, well, shit, I want to take my character and do something else. Todd McFarlane was like, well, she's already an established Spawn character. You can't do that. And Neil Gaiman was like, no, fuck you. I'm going to do what I want. And so, they ended up going to a legal battle, and it was like British versus Canada. And then eventually, when the dust settled, Neil Gaiman was so fed up, he said, fuck it. Marvel, how much you want to pay me for this character? Marvel's like, here's some money, and that's how Angela ended up at Marvel. So she is now technically an Asgardian.
So, there you go.
Yeah, comics are weird, man.
Yeah. It gets really political sometimes.
Yeah, it really does.
It's crazy.
For something a lot of people say isn't inherently political. Yes, they are. The difference is it's entertainment. Speaking of entertainment, the Ghost Rider book. Holy shit, I slept on this. I am so sorry. This is a really great starting point if you want to get into Ghost Rider, or if you're even remotely familiar or wanting to know more about the character. You can't go wrong here. And we are actually introduced to Johnny Blaze, one of our OG Ghost Riders, and he's going to see this mystery tattooist because there's something going on. And this tattooist has no eyes, but will draw everything inside of Johnny Blaze to help him understand who he is. And so he sits down in this chair, and this guy actually looks cool. Kind of reminds me of Uta from Tokyo Ghoul a little bit. And just the energy, not in the design, but the whole vibe of the character. And I kind of dig that. But he goes in and he sets about drawing on his skin, and he goes and pulls up memories of Ghost Riders from the past. So you can get a really great Carter Slade callback in here when you're familiarized with that classic Ghost Rider right there.
Oh, that's so
and then of course you see it appear on his skin as the dude is tattooing and telling the story, and then you get this great callback to Danny Ketch, who's just an absolute badass, and it's the one Ghost Rider that Hasbro hasn't given us. But we want our Danny Ketch, damn it. Give me our Danny Ketch.
So what you're telling me is that tattoo was so painful it made him experience his Avatar past lives.
Exactly.
Send that man right to the Avatar state.
Those that are linked to him, as well as Mephisto's Memories of the Midnight Suns, which got Morbius and Blade right there.
Yep.
For those who remember the '90s teams. So yeah, this is a really good jumping on point because it gives you that whole history and that backstory while giving you a new starting point. So if you wanted to get in on Ghost Rider, I would highly recommend this book. And it ends with our guy, stepping out and reclaiming his place as a Ghost Rider. But now apparently Johnny Blaze has tattoos, which I'm thinking, how come he didn't have those from the jump? A biker without tattoos?
Yeah, awkward.
It's like
The
a
reference even says that.
I know, right?
Yeah, I mean, but I guess that's a reason to get some from now on.
I know, right?
As a
like,
part of like, I don't know, maybe.
like it works for the character. Not to mention the cover art is just fucking sick. Like, I love everything about that.
I mean, think about it, like, what if?
Ooh, Black Panther Citizen Watch is being advertised on the back.
Yeah.
Showing them
If
this
you're
one
looking
right
for a
here.
Christmas gift. But no,
Be really cool if the tattoos had like
Oh
something to do with
Lord,
his
I
power
just
as well.
can I say it?
Yeah.
go for it.
It was like, is it a comic that teaches black people how to tell time?
A little bit.
All right, that's fair.
I'll give you that one.
Is that
You're the
tradition?
reason why ads
Yeah.
do so well.
Thank you.
Is that a cultural tradition? Okay.
I'm going to give Citizen money.
Allow me to give Austin an Austin.
Oh my God, guys.
Like I
Guys.
accomplished
I'm
something.
fucking with you.
Could you please suck the air out of the room harder?
Guys.
You can't let the air get sucked out of the room. You gotta let it keep going. You gotta
Not
build
right
it.
now.
It's gonna be his Christmas gift, so tune in for the Christmas special, and you'll get to hear him say,
So that was the comic verse.
"Yes,
I'm interested in that Ghost Rider too.
yeah, the
That's
Ghost Rider is
wonderful.
really fucking good."